Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am so good.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good today. It's
Yes.
a good
This
day.
is so good. Yay.
Hi, Wendy. I am
She's
so happy
muted.
that I get to see you today, LJ. I call you
I am
Lauren.
too.
I know your name is
That's
LJ
okay.
or whatever.
No, you know
To
what?
me, you're Lauren.
I'm everybody. I'm all of the people.
I know.
So
I know.
only people who don't really know me only know me as LJ. And then the other third of people call me mom. So, you know.
Well, I'm not going to
There's
call you
that.
mom since you're about the age of my daughter.
Call me mama. You know, it's really funny. I have found there are a lot of people in like the drum spaces that will call me mama just out of like, I don't know why. I really like it. I'm like, yes, that's mom, yo mama.
Yeah, I get called that too because I'm Mama Bear in our group, and then people call me Mama T or whatever. So I do too. I love it.
I love it. I'm like, well, and
hold on.
It is funny.
I forgot my light. I have this really cool light that I bought.
You're so I have a bajillion dollars worth of lighting. I have so much lighting. And you know what I use for light when I do anything on like Zoom or FaceTime or whatever? I turn my computer onto an Amazon homepage because it's a white background and I use my monitor.
That is brilliant.
Light. So I'll be in the middle of like, whatever thing and like it'll go whoop, dark because my computer goes to sleep.
That's funny.
You would think that I would know better, but I do not.
Oh, it's all good.
So there's that.
Let me see if there's anybody else.
Okay.
No, we're good for now. It's a little early.
I forget if I didn't do it because I'm in the midst of video editing right now. So if you see me doing stuff behind here, that I'm still listening.
It's all good.
Okay. I'm judging you.
I'm like Batgirl all around here. I have a big screen. I have a laptop. I have the iPad. I have my Mac. I've got everything going on.
Gee, you do have a lot going on.
Girl, you're busy.
And then I have a lesson with Terry at 5. So I've got to transfer everything up to the drum studio.
Nice.
So
I want a drum studio.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm so sorry to have to keep doing this.
We gave up our master bedroom for it. So
yeah, my world is covered in photo stuff and drum things, which is funny because I don't actually play drums. I probably could if I sat down behind a kit and tried.
I think you could.
I think I can keep a solid beat if I try, but I have the most crippling performance anxiety that ever was. I can talk to 100,000 people without a problem.
You really can. You're smooth.
I have no problem talking, but music for me has always been this very personal, very intimate thing. And so to do it for somebody else in front of me, I'm like, oh God, no, I can't do it. It's very uncomfortable.
It's that's such a funny thing because and it's not about, I was going to say, well, maybe it's about not having enough time behind the kit, but then that's not always it because I met Ella Fitzgerald's husband, Ray Brown, who used to be an amazing stand-up bass player. Mm-hmm. And he told me that before almost every show, Ella still threw up. She got so nervous.
One of my best friends has been the front man for this goofy ska band for like 25 years. And I loved them when I was a kid and I've just become friends with them since. And he's like, I have to put on a different person before I go on stage.
Yeah.
And he is the best performer I think I've ever seen, just 150% attention and attitude and energy. And he's like, that's not who I am. I have to become that person. It's so weird.
I think that's probably true for a lot of people in the arts.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Us teachers, I'm an introvert, but I've been teaching at the college level for 30 years now. And once I get up in front of the classroom, it's just like showtime.
Yeah.
So. Hi, Nita. That. Hi, Casey. Hi, Danny.
Ladies. Hi, Tammy.
Happy birthday. So glad you guys, thank you. I'm so glad you guys got to be here.
Me too. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm having a great birthday.
Hey.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Good.
It makes sense. You're such a love baby. I love that. It's like perfect.
Love
So-
baby.
You are. You're just that. You like just a little glowy bundle.
It's the light.
No. Incorrect.
Happy birthday, Tammy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm having a great day. I woke up a little bit late for me, and I woke up to literally hundreds of messages and texts and funny things that people sent me. And I've been trying to go through because I don't want people to think I'm not reading them, because I literally read every single one of them. And I try to write back to every single person. Because they took the time to write to me, I will take the time to write back. You got your new shirt. I love that. See Casey's shirt? That's one of the brand new styles that we have. It's such a cool style. I've got one of them, but I'm hoping
Is the
to get some more
text shiny?
colors. Yeah, can you show that again, Casey?
Like an oil slick?
Yeah, it's sort of like that, but it's also a little bit, it's almost tie-dye-ish or something.
That's super
Pink.
cool.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah, it's tie-dye, and I absolutely love it. It's so comfortable and it's so soft.
Oh, yay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I got
We've
my
got some new things.
mask.
Oh, you got your stuff.
I got back
Yay.
from Texas yesterday, so I'm all
She's
merched
got
up.
socks and a mask. I've got all kinds of new things. I love those socks. I don't even have a pair yet. I need to go in my
gosh, they're
shop
so
and
cute.
get some.
Those are
in
super cute.
that pink color, we've got the Casey, it's a little bit like yours, but I think it's solid pink. But we're gonna have car plates, and one of them is going to be the regular black and white, but one of them is going to be the pink and white plates for the front of your car. Some states you have to have your license plate on the front and the back, but some states like mine, you just have to have one on the back and you can put whatever you want on the front. So we have plates for the front, and we also have plate holders, the things that go around your plate if you have to have a car plate on your front.
I
So
got
we've
pulled
all
over
kinds of
for
things
that.
coming. Oh, really?
I got pulled over once for having just the ring around the plate, but I just do it anyway. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
What do you
most
throw me
states
in
are
jail?
cool with that as long as you have your regular plate, whatever they require,
I think
So I've
that's-
got both. We've got all kinds of cool things we're getting ready to roll out. I'm so excited.
That's exciting.
I know, we've lots and lots of new things. I'm excited about it.
yeah.
Okay, so we're after 2. So
Awesome.
LJ, if you want-
Hello.
hello, LJ.
I'm so glad you guys are all here. Okay, so Tammy asked me to kind of take the helm today, since it's her birthday and she should have a day off. I think. Is that what that is? No, maybe
Well,
not.
I wasn't going to interview myself, but a lot of people,
no.
a lot of people wrote to me and said they loved the new kind of artist spotlight interviews that I'm doing.
Mhm.
But when are we going to do mine? And
Yep.
I thought this week only had one or two people scheduled, and so I thought, well, my birthday, I can just do that. And then you were the only phone call that I made. I wanted LJ to do the interview, so.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That makes my heart very happy because I'm like, oh, I do have friends. The pandemic has been one of those very isolating, like,
So
are
much.
there other humans out there?
Yes.
Hello. Are you? No, there's not. Okay, cool.
But I
so
did
thank
get to
you.
see you during the pandemic anyway.
That's true.
We
That is
did.
true. I made a rare exception for my isolation. I was like,
I know.
very excited. I was so excited. So,
Yeah.
okay. So let's, I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions, things that some things I don't know, and some things
Okay.
people might already know in conversation with other
All right.
artists that you might have talked about. So let's
Okay.
go.
All
Okay.
right.
First of
Let's do it.
all, happy freaking birthday.
Thank you.
34 is looking very nice on you.
34 is good. That's about the age of my kids. That's really funny.
Well, shh, we don't talk.
I know, right?
Okay. So I have a list, so I'm not like
Okay.
just drifting off.
Do it.
Okay. So I'm just going to dive in. When did you start drumming? How long ago?
Okay, it's been a bit. When I was let me back up a bit. My mom is a pianist, and she wanted me to play the piano. So my first grade year, I was taking piano lessons from what I remember is an old kind of crotchety lady that I did not like. And so I took the piano lessons. I did the first little concert thing that you have to do. And then I told her I would never go back. And the kicker for me was I had to wear a dress to the concert thing. And I was like, this is not for me. I can't do this. And for whatever reason, I felt like I was very uncoordinated because I couldn't get my fingers to do what just the watching the music go by on the page and trying to get my hands to do what I was watching. That didn't fit well with the way my brain worked. And then my grandfather, he was actually in several bands, and he played in Oklahoma, we call it the fiddle. So he was in country bands, and so he played the fiddle, and he played the steel guitar, and he played the guitar, and all kinds of things. And he wanted me to be a guitar player. And his hope for me was to grow up and be a country western singer, guitar player. So
do you sing also?
Oh yeah. I was actually a vocalist. That was my main thing. I was a voice person, and I actually got my scholarship to college on my voice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's how I went to school, vocals. But so I took guitar lessons during I was 9 years old, and I took for a whole year because he bought me a guitar and he bought me a year's worth of lessons. So, and I just kept saying, this feels so awkward. It doesn't feel natural to me at all. I don't understand. I don't get it. So I did that for a year, but I hated it, honestly. And so, but every time I would watch people play, I would hone in on the drummer, which was always a male. But I was like, I know that I could do that. I mean, that makes completely and total sense to me. If somebody would just allow me to sit down, I think I could figure that out. And so by the time I was about 12, getting ready to go into the 7th grade, I told my mom, I kept telling my mom I wanted to play drums. And she said, no, girls don't play the drums. This was 1976, 1977. And I was like, well, why not? Girls can sit. We can hold sticks. I don't understand why girls can't do this. So I actually mowed lawns all summer, saved some money, and bought a crappy little set and taught myself how to play. And then to get into the 7th grade band, you had to have been already in 6th grade band. So I lied when I signed up for 7th grade band, and I was like, sure, I know how to read drum music. And yep, I took that band last year. And so I just kind of snuck my way in so I could watch what all the guys were doing. And I picked it up. That's why I never took drum lessons. And so I never was a really strong drum music reader because no one ever taught me. I literally kind of learned it by osmosis. I was watching them with the music in front of us, and I was trying to figure out what they were doing compared to what the music was. And that's kind of how I picked it all up. So that's how I started. Just kind of
awesome.
Snuck my way into it.
So since then, do you take lessons now? Have you pursued lessons further, individual lessons with people?
On my 50th birthday, I took my very first lesson, and I had become friends with Annika Nielis from Germany. And I wrote her and I said, hey, would you like to give me my first drum lesson? And she knew that I already played and whatever. And she was like, yeah, I'd love to. So I signed up for a few, and we did Skype lessons. And at the same time, like a month later, I started taking also from Emmanuel Caplet. And I took a few Skype lessons from her. And then I signed up with mikeslessons.com and took some, just online lessons. And I pick up online lessons all the time through Drumeo and things like that. But I don't know that I've ever had an in-person lesson.
Sure.
Everything has been online, but yeah.
So
just
once we're past all of this where we're not supposed to be around other humans, is that something you think you might do? Who would you want to take an in-person lesson from? If you're like, okay, we can all go out and be around people and everything's safe again, who would that person be? What lesson would you take?
Gosh,
or lessons.
One of my favorite drummers is from a band called Dirty Loops, Aaron Mellergaard. I think he's in Sweden, but I love the style that he plays. Juan Mendoza is another one that I love his style, and I love the way he plays. There's just so many good drummers, and I know so many of them through Facebook and through my connections now that I am literally going to just start hunting them down and saying, I need some time with you. Teach me what you can teach me.
Carlito is phenomenal and literally one of the kindest people I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
we're
just
friends on Facebook.
incredible.
I just have never got to meet him in person. So that's something that I definitely want to do.
Highly recommended. And his studio, I was just out there in New Jersey a little while back doing some stuff for his new studio, and it's gorgeous.
Yes,
gorgeous.
I imagine.
Okay, so what was the catalyst for you wanting to create the DGU group? Like what, so you've got lots of years of drums under you, and you're like, we should have an entire group of girls. What was the catalyst for that?
Well, it actually started out a little more innocent than that. Almost 6 years ago, I got really, really, really sick. And we even thought that I might die from it. I have lupus, and I was diagnosed, and I was having a hard time breathing, and they couldn't regulate it. And we thought this could be it. You know, my husband and I had been in hospice, and so we were real easy to have conversations about death and dying and those kinds of things. So that was not an issue. But he said, up to this point, I had never had a picture of me behind my drum kit. I had never had a video. And he said, Tammy, to be honest, if something happened to you and we don't have anything like that, that would be tragic. So why don't you let me film you at church, you know, on Sunday or something, and put it out there. And I seriously almost had a panic attack, wondering what people would say if they saw me drumming, because I had no education as far as, you know, lots of education on drumming. And I just didn't know if I'd be crucified by the people at their keyboard, or if I would be, you know, people would be kind. So I said, yeah, go ahead. You know, I might not be here very long anyway, put it out there. But people were so kind, and it really encouraged me to then do that fairly regularly and then watch those back. So I was really learning from my mistakes, and I was being able to correct things pretty quickly and see what I wanted to change. And so from there, I started contacting other female drummers. So I started going on YouTube, and I found Annika and Emmanuel and all these different ones. And I contacted them through Facebook, and we became friends. And we would go back and forth, you know, talking to each other either through text or through Messenger. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we just had one place that we could all, because they kind of knew each other. Why don't we just all have one place where we could all talk to each other, and I don't have to go back and forth individually with all these people. And it really only started out with me and about 8 other females that I knew that were drummers, because up to that point, I literally had never known another female drummer, really. In high school, I think there was a couple of people in drumline, but, you know, they weren't really drummers like drum set and things like that. They weren't going to go into it. It was just something for them to do. But from this, I started meeting all kinds of new drummers. And so I put that group together, and everybody started inviting their people. And 5 years later, 4 years later, maybe, now we're up to what, 6,400 members, something like that. I'm going to get a drink. Yeah.
I think it's an amazing thing just to have a space, a safe place to say, you know, this is something I'm dealing with, because there are things that are very specific to women in the drumming world that guys don't have to deal with. And a tiny bit of background in case the rest of you ladies do not know who I am a photographer, and I work pretty closely with a lot of people in the drum world. I've photographed drummers for the last 8 years. And so I've traveled all over the place, and I do like branding type stuff, magazine work, website content, stuff like that for people who are in drum and percussion spaces. And in conversation with people, like I've flown out to Germany to photograph Annika, and I've worked with, I'm trying to think of whoever else, which my brain is completely blanking. And there are conversations that I've had with people where it's like the guys don't see me, or the fans don't, you know, respect me the same way as they would a male behind the drum set or whatever. And I think that being able to have a place to say, hey, is this something you run into? Is this an issue that you're having? How do I resolve this? Is such a huge gift to be able to give to people. And it opens up the floor to say, like, yes, there might be some road bumps, but here's how we can set a platform to grow what we're doing. So it is normal for people to see a woman behind a drum set. It is normal for a little girl to say, I can do that too. And it isn't like a, you know, I think there's this roadblock that we develop when we're little and we don't see ourselves in a space, and we say, well, that's not for me anyway. And so being able to see women, regardless of age, of size, of nationality, of ethnicity, of like, regardless of, you know, all of the things that people want to, the boxes that people want to put us into, it says you have a place and you can be here and this is for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's so huge.
When it first started, it was really just a kind of a gathering place. But once it started to take off, I really started to, I wanted to mold it into something permanent and something meaningful, not just a convenient place for my friends to meet. I really started to think a little more in the future about it. And so I started to kind of put together what the goal of the group would be, not just buddies, which I love friends, as you all know. I am such a people love my friends and I love my people, but I really wanted it to be even more meaningful than that for people. I wanted it to be safe, for one thing, because I know so many women drummers that are homosexual, bisexual, transsexual, or have been abused or hurt or just like beaten by life. And I wanted them to have a very safe, easy place to have friends and to have conversations and to feel loved and accepted and encouraged every single time they're on the page. I wanted them to go away feeling better than when they arrived. And that's the whole goal right now, is to encourage drummers to be better people, to be better friends, to be better drummers, to be better educated, whatever it is. I want people to power up whatever they're doing in life, and to feel the encouragement of 6,400 sisters holding their hand through it, because I don't think any of us should have to go through life alone and to feel like we're by ourselves on this journey, because we are absolutely and definitely not.
I think anybody who's met you in person can attest to the fact that that's you 500%. Like that's just the core of who you are. Any time I've spent in your presence, I'm like, this is home. This is a home place. I'm gonna cry right now. I'm just warning you. It's just that feeling where you create this place of you belong here. Oh my Lord. Sweet baby Jesus.
Just let it out.
You create this place of acceptance and inclusion and warmth and love, and you have just being who you are in the world extends to the group. And I wish there were more people in this conversation, because I just want to shout it. You're just amazing. You're just wonderful. And I'm so thankful for your personality and your heart for humans in general. But I'm so glad that it extends to a place where women should feel included, of all ages, of all backgrounds, from all of the countries, no matter how they look or their level of playing, because it is scary. I think a lot of things, because I have to bring it back to me, for my own self, when I'm like what I was talking about earlier, is I have this terrible fear of playing in front of people. But when you have a place that says, you know what, we're all starting. We all start at some place, like at the beginning. It doesn't matter if it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. My starting point was just 20 years ago. Yours might be right now. And that's okay, because we all start at the same know nothing place. And this is safe. And you're here to grow. And I think that's so wonderful to be able to have that, like, especially from a personality like yours. Because I know there are a lot of other women in the industry that I would be like, so scary. Oh my gosh. But you're such a perfect personality for that.
Well, thank you. I don't want
Thank
anyone
you.
to ever feel intimidated to come up and talk to me anywhere. You know, when I walk through NAM, and sometimes people will say, after we've gotten together and met and, you know, in a group or whatever, they'll say, I didn't know if I could just come up and talk to you. I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. I want people to feel like I'm just the gal next door that can come up and talk to me about anything, you know.
And you definitely make that space available for people. And with that, I mean, obviously right now is kind of like a funky time, but
Yes.
when we are able to gather again, you teach. And is that something that you're going to be working on more heavily, like doing clinics and camps, traveling, stuff like that, so that it's a little bit more accessible to people all over?
Yes, that was the goal for 2020 was in 2019, I did my first clinic. See what you did? You're making me all leaky. Okay,
sorry.
so yeah, so I did my first clinic in 2019 here in Tulsa. And so I had 3 girls to be clinicians with me from the group, flew them in, and we had so much fun. And we had some gals, almost everybody flew in because no one's here in Tulsa.
Right.
So it was a really fun thing. And I thought in 2020, I'm going to do 4. My goal was 4. So I'm going to just split it up around the United States, East Coast, West Coast, you know, probably Austin and maybe Chicago. So I was going to do that. But then, of course, everything kind of got put on hold. So I'm hoping that as this year hopefully opens up, at least I can do a couple. And then, and people have been asking me in Canada and in Europe. And so my goal is to just have this move around. And so I could go and maybe not always be a clinician in every one of them, but I can have clinicians there and I can kind of oversee some of it, and I can have other people helping me because I can't be everywhere all the time. But I would love to go and meet as many people and encourage as many people to be there as possible and to meet each other. So yeah, that's part of the growing process of this group. Now that I've made it an LLC and I'm trademarking the name and all of the gear and everything like that. So I'm learning how to do the business end of this. And I want to start doing the clinics and classes and different things as well, because this is my full-time gig now, which I never thought it would be, but it is. And so so I'm excited about what's going to be happening in the next year or 2.
I'm excited too. I think there's a lot of growth that is ready to happen.
Yeah.
There are a lot of untapped, not to make it about business, because I don't think that is the primary focus for what you're,
Correct. Absolutely.
Like that's not your engine.
No.
But there is a huge untapped market of people who don't know that they love drums yet, or are afraid to reach out to that. Like, oh, I wish I could do that. Okay. So stop wishing and let's do it. Let's start doing that thing.
What's the hurdle? Let's figure out how to get over it.
Right. The hurdle is fear of judgment, fear of not having a place, fear of being bad. And I think you're like the perfect person to say, hey, this is a great spot to be terrible, because there is room to grow and there is room to build what you're doing. I think that's so great. And once we're able to be out again, I have a really big desire to be out again. Let's just go. Can we go? Let's go.
Golly, me too.
Come on.
Yes.
Once we're able to be back together again, I think, you know, we will see as an industry a lot of like vertical growth in that space, because it's just an exponential thing, right? Like in the last 8 years alone, I have watched so many women come into the industry, so many women, like it's been crazy. And there are people who stand to exploit that space, which is a little bit unfortunate, but even more than that, there are people that say, hey, this is home and you can be here too. And so I'm super excited to see what comes from that.
Yes.
I feel like we had a really great talk about this in California when you were here, about the benefit of drumming as people are starting to get older, the physical benefit of including drumming into a person's routine. Is that something you can speak on as far as like, because I know you've worked in, you did hospice care, right?
Yes, I was a social worker.
Okay, you were a social worker. Is there something that you can speak on as far as like the social, emotional, mental, physical benefits to people being able to be active in a drumming sort of way in advanced years?
Yeah, I've read a lot about it, and one of the things that I've read is that drumming is one of the only things that you use all of your brain. You're using all the different parts of your brain. So for people that are older, that are having some memory issues, or they're just having some, they're just not moving around as much. I've seen these classes where they give them one of those big kind of Swiss balls, and then they give them sticks, and they have them doing a lot of kind of drum beats and things on that. They're moving their body. They're having to think about mirroring what the instructor is doing. They're using their muscles, and they're using coordination. I mean, there's so many things that are happening that they probably don't do in everyday life anymore, especially if they're walking with a walker and they're not having to be as coordinated as they used to. And it really does help them make those connections again, where maybe some of those connections were lost. So yeah, it's very, very beneficial. Music in general, but especially drumming.
I think it'd be wonderful to take a piece from, in the future, educational spaces, clinics, if that can be a facilitation element, where it's like, we're going to partner with people who do work with, memory care patients or advanced care, hospice, or even just in-home care, and incorporating percussion into that space. I think that would be super cool to see the marriage of that, those two pieces.
Yeah. And and with that, music stays in a place in the memory that even if a person has dementia that's so severe that they don't remember their name, or they can't even talk anymore. I had a patient that had dementia, and she was pretty severe. She could still walk if I took her hand, and I knew that she used to play piano way back in the day. And so I would walk her to the piano and sit her down and open the hymnal, and she asked me, "What are we doing?" And I said, "You can play the piano." And she said, "No, I can't." And I put her hands on the keys, and I literally just pushed down, and I pointed to the hymnal, and she just started playing. It just, like, it all came back. But before that, she didn't even remember that she could do it. So the memory of music stays in your brain, where even your ability to speak or walk or remember most of your life is gone. Memory of music will stay there.
I love that.
All right, I'm tearing up now.
Everybody get out a hanky. This is going to be one of those days.
I'm sorry. So Bruce, your husband, has been very supportive of this
so much
process. And I know you have a son and a daughter.
I have a son and a daughter, yes.
Son and a daughter. And they've been pretty supportive of
very
this,
much.
Which I think is such a huge piece of having a successful forward motion, is having that, like, okay, even just encouragement. How was there a transitional space when you went from doing social work to, was that switching to drums, was that little break where you were really sick, was that the space that was kind of the catalyst to that, where it's like, okay, now we're going to go and do
100%.
this?
Yeah, because I kept thinking, geez, I'm 50. I had just had my 50th birthday. And I kept thinking, geez, is this all? I never even got to really pursue drums, because I was playing at a church, but I was just playing part-time, and had a work full-time, and I didn't even really think about it as a full-time kind of thing. And then when I got so sick, I thought, no, that's not it. I have to pursue this. And so I worked a few more years. And then at the beginning of last year, I just told my company I needed to go. It's now or never. This group was starting to build. It was about 1,500 at that point. And I just told my husband, I was making half the money for our home, and our family. But I said, I just know the money's going to come in if I pursue this. And I'm not kidding you. It was almost the week that I got rid of that job and just went out on faith. I got contacted by Facebook to do that commercial. And then a friend, a girl from our group said, hey, would you like to go to Drumeo with me? I have a private jet. I'll just pick you up in Tulsa and take you with me. And so I got to meet all of these Drumeo people, which made huge connections for me as far as my drumming career. And then I came back and filmed that thing in Hollywood with the commercial. And then Facebook contacted me again and offered me another job beta testing one of their music apps that they were putting together. And then I started getting hired for all kinds of different bands and different things. So just, it was all coming together. Then I thought, I'm going to start doing like shirts and things, since nobody can go anywhere anymore. At least that we can celebrate with each other by having our gear on. We'll feel like we're together. And so I started, designing some of these things and putting them together. And then that kind of brought money in for me a little bit during the year to give me some time to spend on building this group. And so it's just, it worked out exactly the way it was supposed to work out.
I love that. I think too, I mean, as the world comes back together in a normal space, I think it's just going to grow exponentially. I really do. Because not only doing this and then social work, you said you were doing church stuff and you play gigs. And I mean, all of that was kind of squashed in March.
Yeah. I 35 gigs like in one day got canceled. But some of my friends, there were like 95 gigs canceled in one day. And that's, thousands of dollars that was gone. But fortunately, it just, I don't know how, but it all worked out.
Everything is figure outable. And I think oftentimes when we're able to kind of sit back and just trust the process and trust, like, which is a really scary thing, saying okay, this is not the end. And if it's the end, I lived a really good life. Hopefully we make it, did what I could while I was here. I think, there's definitely a benefit to being able to sit back and trust and just know. I mean, you are active hands and feet. You are not sitting sedentary, but there's not a whole lot you can do when the whole world shuts down and you're like, okay, they're canceling and they're canceling and everybody's just canceling. Okay, I'm going to go to the corner and lay in the fetal position and sob for the next 45 minutes. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Yeah. Which, to be totally fair, I definitely did that. I was like,
I think everyone did. I think we all have gone through that, but
for sure.
But with the group though, even because I started doing the weekly Zoom sessions almost immediately, because I knew that so many of the people in the group, they lost all of their gigs. They can't go see their family. They can't go see their friends, and they were lonely. And I wanted to check on people, and I couldn't literally send out 6,400 messages. So I just wanted to start doing this and opening it up to anybody that wanted to join, just to check in on people and make them feel like, well, at least we can still be with our friends, even though we can't in person. It's sort of like that. So I started, making sure that I did that every week for people, because I think it's important.
It is important. You're doing a really good job. You've provided, it's that whole thing. You are just the mom that is welcoming everybody with the open door and a plate of cookies. Like, that's how it feels. It's like, okay, I'm here. I like it. It's home now. I live here now. And I just love that. I love that so
Doors
much.
open. Come on in.
Yeah. The coffee is not fresh, but I don't think you'll complain.
Right.
It's warm. Get over it. No. Oh wait, no, that's me. That's how I host. I'm like, oh, if you're hungry, there's leftover like burgers in the fridge. It'll be fine. Just figure it out.
Well, I'm all about cookies, so y'all can have the coffee.
Yeah. Right.
Same.
Right.
So what, aside from building up DGU, building up the merch, building up the business, and then gigging, is there anything else that you want to accomplish? Anything else that you like, bucket list things as far as music or drumming or facilitation or whatever? Where would you like to be? Is there something that you want to accomplish, or a goal that you have, or a person that you would love to jam with?
Oh,
what are your dreams?
There are so many. Deep. Well, when I was growing up and drumming, my dream was to tour. I loved the idea of touring and playing these big, festivals and outdoor things. I thought that would be just so much fun. And there are so many artists that I would love to work with in whatever capacity, just because I think they're just such cool people. I would love to collaborate on whatever that with so many people. But I'm writing a book as well. And so I'm working on that when I have extra time, which is, between 2 and 4 in the morning. It's not like that I have extra time. So I'm working on that. I don't need to sleep. So yeah, there's a lot of things actually. But I'm really open to whatever comes at me, because I can't think of all the cool things. It'll come though.
Well, if there are things, I mean, I have a very small sphere of influence, very, very tiny, but if I can facilitate that, just let me know, because I have weird connections.
You have some actually large connections.
But they're weird. They're not ones that somebody would be like, 40-year-old mom with pink hair and lives in the country in the middle of nowhere wouldn't automatically assume that I would like be able to reach to a space. So I don't know. Everything is figure outable. So if there's anything where you're like, I want to do this, you're like, I might have a person. I might have somebody.
Yeah, I feel so fortunate, because the people that I know are so incredibly loving towards me and encouraging towards me, that I feel like I can get anything done if I need to get it done. So, because I told my husband the other day, he said, everybody loves you. What is going on? And I said, I don't know. I feel like the most supported person on this planet.
It's because you've sown those seeds though, Tammy. That's the thing. You have sown those seeds of support, and you've provided that platform and that foundation for people to grow up into that. And so we're all just trees helping each other out. And you have developed that forest around you of support. Well, you've done a really good job at that.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know, but I am just thankful. I'm just really thankful.
Well, we love you.
Easy to love.
Thank you. Yeah, I got to spend some time with Anita last month in Texas. That was really fun.
That's fun. So I don't think I have any more like real questions. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk about or whatever, the floor is open.
Go ahead. The door's open, right?
Doors open, cookies are ready.
Yes, it's true. Any questions? I guess not.
Hey, Tammy, I just wanted to remind you, I'm going to start a drum circle in my town pretty soon when it gets warm, and I'm so excited about that, because we're such a small town and there's not really a whole lot of things going on with that, but I'm going to start the whole thing, and I'm super excited about that.
That is very cool.
I've been to one in Asheville, North Carolina, and it was amazing. I mean, these were strangers coming together, drumming, and just, it was just amazing.
I would love to see that.
It was amazing. So yeah, I want to keep you updated with that. Because I want to let you know that, just the drum circles are amazing.
Yeah, and please post about it, so that if anybody is around you that's in our group, I want them to be able to go to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
I think Anita's trying to.
Oh, Anita. Yeah, Anita, go ahead. Oh, you're muted. Hang on a second. I'm going to unmute you. Can you unmute?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to ask Casey where she's at.
I'm in Baxter, Georgia. It's Southeast Georgia.
I'm thinking you're on the front porch there, and I'm like a little jealous, because I just got back from Texas and it was 80 and 70 when we were there, and it is -11 here in Iowa. So I would be happy to come to Georgia.
Yeah, so me too. It's about 3 degrees outside and snowing here.
Oh my God.
Just be prepared for the gnats and the heat, because they're awful.
Just give me the beekeeper's vest. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
As long as I'm warm, I'll be happy.
Y'all just come over here. I'm in Northern California, so it's not too hot yet, but we have about 50 to 60 this week. So just come here and stay with me.
That would be awesome too.
Yeah.
And let me just say, everything that everybody's said about Tammy is completely true. And you're so easy to love, Tammy. you don't even have to try. It's just you're who you are. And so thank you for being my friend. And if I'm any testament to like the newest, I mean, I guess I'll be playing now 3 years. I don't think that whole last year counts. So 2 years in March, I'm very new and I just, you don't have to be, super great for Tammy to influence your life. And just, even if she isn't drumming, I mean, she's just amazing. So I just
You
want to thank
guys, my
you.
golly.
I mean it. So
Thank you. Yeah, Anita and I had some fun. Her husband packed a drum set for her to take with her, and I packed a little drum set, and we set up and we got to play together for a couple of days. It was really fun.
it was, and I videotaped her because I'm a visual learner. So I've got a couple things I'm going to be trying. I got to get my jam people to play the same songs for me. So
yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. And you know what? My mentor has the same birthday today as you. My the guy that let me try his drum set every time, and he's kind of bitey, but he is so I'm like totally shocked that he would even let me play. I mean, because he's just kind of like, And so I just feel like blessed by all you guys that know what you're doing. So thank you.
Well, thanks. Thank you for that so much.
You bet.
It's so fun.
Any other questions for me? I think we've got it covered.
I think we got it.
Okay, I got one quick question.
So
okay, go ahead.
Okay. So have you played many electronic kits? This will be more technical questions.
Yeah. I have never owned one, but I play a lot of house kits. And so a lot of the casinos that I've played and a lot of the churches that I've played, they've had e-kits. And so I've played lots of different types, Rolands and Alessis and whatever, a lot of different kinds. But yeah, I prefer my acoustics, but I will play whatever's in front of me if I'm hired to do it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about getting an electric set since I live in a second floor apartment. And
Sure.
I've seen a couple of threads on Facebook of people that like them and then people that don't really like them as much. So yeah, I still think there's advantages to the electronic kits, but they do definitely feel different than the acoustic ones.
Yeah, mostly cymbals, I mean, they can get the cymbal sound pretty close, but nothing is going to feel like your cymbals. And I'm a very tactile person. So when I buy cymbals, I not only listen to the way they sound, but I like the way they feel. Mm-hmm. So if a cymbal feels too hard when I hit it, I don't want that. I don't want that feel. I want cymbals to be able to, I don't know. My cymbals are so thin that I can bend them almost. And so I like the feel of that. I'm not one that plays really, really hard music, so I don't need those really thick cymbals anyway. So I'm very much into the way they not only sound, but the way they feel. So that's one of the reasons I don't prefer an E-kit, is because I like the way the cymbals actually feel when I hit them. And there's so many different variant ways that you can play on a cymbal and get all kinds of different sounds, versus it's basically one sound when you hit an E-kit cymbal. No matter how hard or soft you hit it, sometimes it's going to be that sound. So I don't like that being taken away, because you can control your sound so much more on an acoustic.
There are dampening pads for cymbals that you can use that you can put on the under and on the over. So you can still get that feel, but it'll kind of squash the volume. And also the mesh heads that you can use, Sonia, in case you did want to kind of transform your acoustic kit so it's a little bit more apartment friendly. There are some great mesh heads that feel very true to a standard head feel.
They're pretty quiet.
They're very quiet.
And they kill out.
You can hear them.
I wasn't sure if that shell would resonate those mesh heads or not.
No, actually, it's kind of like playing on a practice pad all the way around. I don't even think it's as loud as a practice pad.
Oh wow.
I had those down in Texas. Did you think they were pretty quiet. They're Sabian.
They were
quiet.
very, yeah, they were very quiet, the mesh heads, right?
I really like them because you still get the feel for that. That being said, you know, a lot of people are very anti e-kit, and I don't care. I will play anything. Just whatever, especially if I don't have to set it up and I'm at a bucket. I don't care. I love it. And the only problem that I have with the e-kit is I think it makes me sound better than I really am. False sense of like, oh, you really killed that. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Go try it on the acoustic. It sounds a little better on the e-kit there for you. So
there's no variance in the sound.
What's that?
There's no variance in the sound. There's no, like, you can't adjust the inflection on a cymbal or whatever with an e-kit, but I'm sure you sound great on an acoustic. It's just a matter of like dynamics when you're playing on an e-kit.
Yeah. That being said, if anybody bought me one, I would take one.
Yeah,
I would absolutely. Yeah.
But for the mesh heads on the acoustic, you can still get a dynamic range when you hit them, because are the triggers pretty good, I guess?
Well, I mean, they have triggered ones too, but I'm just talking about straight on the acoustic where you're actually just playing. You
wouldn't have to have anything, no triggers at all. Unless you just
so you're not like
to...
piping them through a headphone.
No,
or anything.
You could just play.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's mostly for like hand work. You're not actually like playing for the sound. You're not gonna be able to record it and get a great, get a great sound. But if you want to get that hand work out and you want to like just work through
just practice,
whatever it is you're working on, just practice.
Right.
It's great for those. And it just kills out 95% of the volume.
Okay.
It's a great solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry, I know more about products than I do about actually playing. I can tell you what different things sound like. I can tell you, the different sounds and the varying degrees of like metals, but can I play a fill? No.
We're going to work together, me and you. We'll figure that all out.
We'll get there.
There we go.
Yeah, we will.
Okay. I don't really have any other questions.
Maya?
Oh, sorry.
Actually, going back to Sonia's question, so because I'm in an apartment also, but I may at some point get an electric set, but I tried to sort of find the middle ground with my acoustic set. So I wonder what your opinion, Tammy, and maybe Lauren, is of, because I'm actually starting to invest in the RTOM mesh heads. If you know what those are, because those are actually tunable mesh heads that sit off of the drum by about an inch. So I can actually hear my toms underneath. I can hear my snare underneath. And then I turn off my snare, and I actually think it sounds better off depending on how you've tuned your snare. But they're also coming out with individual triggers that will be out at some point that you can attach to those mesh heads. Because I was trying to save space in the apartment to not have to invest in the electric and then get rid of my acoustic and the other way around. So I feel like at some point when they come out with that trigger that I can attach to that practice mesh head, I can have a combination and then take them off when I want my acoustic.
Yeah, I've seen those, and it makes it kind of a hybrid kit, honestly, with the triggers, but I've never actually owned one, so I wouldn't be very good person to tell you much about it, because
currently I'm just using them as an acoustic with the mesh head on top.
Oh, I got it.
RTOM is not out yet with those.
Oh, okay.
Triggers, but I was sort of thinking ahead, if I might want to invest in those, but regardless, the mesh pads are great for, at least my experience with them is that I can hear my drums, and then I can tune. There's a wire underneath that you can actually tune and tighten your head to get a different sound.
Yeah, but they're so good. I've used them a lot, so highly recommend. Lorna, did you have a question?
Aloha from California, everybody.
Hi.
Happy birthday, Tammy.
Thank you.
Celebrating
I appreciate
your
that.
new year, and happy Lunar New Year to all y'all, my sisters. So I think it's a beautiful day. But my question, Tammy, was do you play like congas or timbales or vibes or marimba, other percussion instruments?
I did when I was growing up, but I really haven't much since I've become like a full-time drum set player. I do that everybody that hires me to do that. So I just don't have a lot of opportunities to play congas or, you know, other things just because I'm not being hired to do that. So anytime somebody calls me, it's because they want me to play a drum set.
Okay. And just real quick, I, like many people, the other 6,000 people, haven't met you yet, but I just want to say, girl, you still embody the social worker, the blessings that you share, that heart of yours. And I dig mind, body, soul, spirit, the deeds that you have. It's like beyond just music. And so many people, especially during the pandemic, don't have a safe haven or a safe place. And I think it's just like, dude, you should get the Nobel Peace Prize, because I like that chart that you had of all the countries, the regions, the areas that everybody here online. And oh, by the way, Lauren, your hair is working. It's fierce.
It is fierce.
I washed it.
Yeah.
And shampoo.
Well, I need some of that
Thank you.
shampoo then.
Real quickly, I think you help bring out everybody's joy and spirit. And it's so cool that we could just bring everybody's talents, hopes, frustrations even, and we need it more than ever. So big mahalo. And oh yeah, that was another thing. You guys, she didn't know what mahalo meant, but this is the soul of Tammy. She goes, what does that mean? You know, she wanted to learn, she wanted to experience. And I think no matter who you're talking to, you make that one person feel like the most special person, you know. When you
Golly.
And that's a gift, honey. So thank you.
I feel like I'm listening to my eulogy. Like I get to attend my own funeral.
No, like
No,
guys,
Thank you.
say like, you know, no, this is a celebration, because a lot of people, you got to give flowers while you're alive.
Yeah.
So you bring life to so many people. So thank you very much, girl.
Thank you, Lorna. I appreciate that more than you know. Thank you so much. You guys have completely made my day. Thank you so much for making this awesome. And LJ, you know how much I love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Anybody else before we go?
Sonia had a question in the chat box, but I don't know if that was answered.
Oh, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Hang on a sec. So what will be the first thing you would like to do once Corona is gone that you can't do now? I literally will be hugging every single person that I see. I don't care who they are. I just want to like give a bunch of big bear hugs to people that have not been hugged in a long time. That's the first thing I want to do. Honestly.
It's going to be a huge cuddle puddle forever.
It
Cuddle
for
puddle.
much, so much is. And then after that, I really want to travel. I want to travel and see all my friends, because that's what I do a lot of every year is I get on planes or get in my car and I go see people. Like I've gone to see Elle Jaye. I got to see her in November, and I got to see Anita last month. And honestly, I would love to go see all of you guys. I've traveled all over the United States. I've driven coast to coast. And I'm just to go see people, and I would love to do that again. And I hope to wrap drum things around in all of those trips, so I can write them off, and so that I can play and hope that you guys can play with me and we can do fun things. That's exactly what I want to do.
Really quick, Danny had a question
Yeah.
earlier. She started to raise her hand. Did you have something?
Not
Hi,
really.
Danny.
Not really a question to the topic with e-kits and Artom black hole that Maya said. I have those Artom black holes on my acoustic kit because I'm an absolute e-drum hater. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I use the same just for practicing. I don't need the real drum sound when practicing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about technique and the ways.
Yeah.
Coordination. When I want real drum sound, I go to the rehearsal room and bang my drums, and that's okay for me. And I can easily put off those Artoms and have my acoustic kit ready for gig. So that's perfect, yeah. And I use those Siljan L80 cymbals, the low volume cymbals.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I play with brushes because the stick sound on the L80 cymbals is too, I don't know, too pingy. Yeah, it's really, it's the loudest thing on the kit actually. So, and with the brushes, those cymbals kind of sound better, and you don't have this harsh wood on metal.
Yeah. Thank you for being here too.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
But no question, just add on.
Very good. Well, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody being part of this today. And if you need me, you can always get a hold of me. Just PM me or text me, whatever. And Lauren, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I want to add something else from the chat. Dara Max said, happy birthday. I also wanted to add that an inexpensive alternative is to cut a yoga mat, which is kind of that's a fun hack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're thin enough and it'll kind of kill out that extra sound, but still give you the bounce that a head might.
Yeah, I think Remo has a product called Sound Offs, and it's basically like little rubber pads that fit each one of your drums. And yeah, and you can actually put them on your bass drum. You can put them on your cymbals, hi-hat, and you can play your acoustic set with no sound, basically. It sounds just like you're hitting a practice pad.
Yeah, it's from Evans. I had this before.
Okay. Yeah,
awesome.
So there you go. Well, thanks, you guys. We're going to let you go because we're about at the time. So, but thank you so much. And I'm going to share this on our YouTube channel, and then I'll also share it with the group for anybody that didn't get to watch it live.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you, Tammy. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.
Thank y'all for being here. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.